Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello. For all of you all who are new, what's up? Take a look around. I always say tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm sure I have something here that will pique your interest. And for my people that are back, what's up y'all? I am so happy for y'all to be back. Welcome back. Today's gonna be a great one, a great edifying, fruitful conversation. So we are gonna get into it right after we share our Black History facts. We're back with 100 amazing facts about the Negro with proof. This fact was very cool to me. So the present Negro race of Africa perhaps did not originate there, but Asia and Oceania. The earliest inhabitants of Africa were not black, but brown. Today, the people of mixed and unmixed Negro descent living in Asia and Oceania probably exceed in number the present Negro population of Africa. India has millions of Negroes. The purest Negro types are in Southern Asia. In 1923, Dr. Joseph Rock, United States Department of Agriculture, discovered a unknown Negro race, the Nikes. I'm going to put it on the screen because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. 200,000 in number in southern China. He reports that they have a civilization superior to their neighbors who live under white rule. It's just so fascinating to me, and this is something that I am really going to look up. I've never heard of the Nikes. The Nikes. Have any of you all heard of this? I have not. And I definitely was not taught this. So very, very cool. Again, I always say it's so important to do your research and just know these things for yourself. Do not just depend on secondhand or passed down diluted information about who we are, our history, where we come from. It is on us. Today we are talking about a hard budget for a soft life. And when I say hard budget, I mean ish. Everyone's budget is so different and is so unique to your life. So I am truly just want to preface by saying this is what works for me. I've gotten a couple of questions about how I budget, and I figured it would be great to talk about what works for me. Now, by no means am I a guru, and by no means do I have a financial background. This is genuinely just what helps me in my day-to-day and a system that I've been swearing by for the past, 5 years. And it could change as my life changes, when I get married, when I become a homeowner, when I have kids, or a business owner, whatever the case may be. This is going to change. So this works for my life presently. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So I just want to say that. So when we're talking about a budget and we're talking about financial literacy and building wealth, I think the first place to start is looking at your debt if you have any. The method that I started when I am tackling debt and have been is from The Complete Guide to Money from Dave Ramsey. And in this book, he talks about the snowball method. So you're tackling your lowest amount of debt, getting rid of that, right? Tackling your next least amount of debt, and then your medium sized to debt, and then your bigger debt. It's the snowball effect of just knocking everything out, but from least to greatest. Or at least that's how I interpret it, and that's how I did it. So look at your debt. Look at if you are in collections, that's a real thing. Most of these companies, these collection agencies and billing companies, whatever, will likely set up a payment plan with you that you can look at lowering interest for certain credit cards. There's certain programs that you could qualify for because they want to work with you. So don't ignore your bills. Don't ignore things that are past due. Don't ignore things that are in collections. Don't ignore. Tend to these things. Be a good steward over what you have borrowed, because the word tells us, if you are a Christian, you should be the head and not the tail, the lender and not the borrower. So if you are a borrower, like most of us are, have some sort of line of credit, have some sort of loan of some sort, pay it back. You are supposed to. You are called to pay it back. And a lot of times, like I said, just looking at your debt and seeing how you can tackle it and seeing how you can pay it down not only helps your credit score, which is so important. I know that Dave Ramsey sometimes says that your credit score is not important, but I don't really fully understand that, so I can't really touch that. But I know for my life and most of adult living lives, your credit score is very, very important. So paying down your debt not only helps your credit score, but it also gives you a good borrowing history. Like, you are a responsible borrower. So if it does come time for you to buy a house, they can look at your history and be like, oh, she's a responsible borrower. She pays her bills back. She doesn't miss payments. She has a good credit utilization balance, right? So you just want to really be on top of those things for the bigger things that you actually want, like a car that you might need to take out a car loan for, or a house, or business credit. Like, all of those things matter, and they look at your history. So you just really want to be on top of your history now, even if you aren't buying a car. You don't know what in a few years if you'll need to, or even if you're not thinking about buying a house, you don't know if that could change. So I would genuinely say, stay on top of your debt, stay on top of your bills, work with these creditors, work with these agencies. They will help you. My next tip has been, and that I swear by, is setting up a budget. So the way that I set up my budget is I have an essentials bucket, I have a debt bucket, and I have a savings bucket, and I have an other bucket, and then I have my disposable income bucket. So essentials are things like groceries, utilities, mortgage, rent, essentials, phone bill, renter's insurance, or whatever insurance you have, car notes, whatever. Essentials is like, this is a monthly thing, no matter what, this has to be paid. My essentials bills are on auto pay. I don't think about it. It's out of the way. My rent, out of the way. Auto pay, take it. My phone bill, take it. That is in essentials, and that is on auto pay. And those are crucial for your livelihood, right? Then I have my debt bucket. So that is credit cards, whatever, monthly credit cards, student loans, medical bills, whatever that looks like, that is debt. And that is also like a monthly revolving rotation. That is, by all means, make this happen. This is also as important as essentials. Then I have my savings. A lot of my savings, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but my savings comes directly from, like, some of my savings I'm moving on my own, but some of it comes directly from my check. Then I have my other. So my other is my hair appointments, my nail appointments, my subscriptions, things like that. That's other. Those can be flexible. Like, that's not a must, but it is something, just like my upkeep for my soft life. So that's my other bucket that also happens. And then in my disposable, that's like my dinners, my coffees, things like that. Like, things that are not necessarily like happening all the time, but I do allot money for it when it is happening. That's also travel, things like that. Like, that's my disposable. I could play with this, I could have fun with this. I'm living my life on disposable. So that's what I would say that works for me on how I budget up my responsibilities and my buckets. It's essentials, it's debt, it's savings, other, disposable. The next point is diversifying your income. So reason being is when I was in university and college, my mom and dad couldn't help me be there anymore past my sophomore year. So they were basically like, hey, if you want to stay at this college, you're gonna have to figure out how to stay here. Student loans only covered up to a portion, but there was a large amount that was still an out-of-pocket expense. So because of that, I had to work like 3 or 4 jobs. I had to sit semesters out. I graduated later than my friends because I was really trying to hustle to pay my tuition. So by working 3 or 4 jobs sometimes at a time, it built up this, not only a work ethic that I'm so grateful for and so just grateful to my parents, because I knew that decision that they made was not easy and that's not something that they wanted to do, but they still had their own responsibilities outside of college for me. By them not being able to help me actually turned into something that built my work ethic that I stay with to this day. I am always doing more than one thing. I have a 9 to 5, but I also have 2 other streams of income that come to me. And because of that, I am able to pour into these buckets more. Like I am able to pour more into my debt bucket. I am able to pour more into my other bucket and my savings bucket, because really my 9 to 5 is covering my essentials bucket no matter what, right? And it covers my savings buckets and my debt bucket. But if you have goals, aggressive goals, you may want to look at how can I make some other streams of income. Not only is it smart and wise to do, but it can help you get to some of those goals faster. If you have a goal to buy a home, for example, you might want to look at some other streams of income to help you to pay down some debt, to beef up your savings, things like that. So I would say having more than one stream of income is wise. Just anybody in this world, wise, have more than one stream of income if you can. I had mentioned about different like savings things. So I learned this a little bit later than I should have, but it's very important to have a high yield savings account. Now, if you don't know what a high yield savings account is, it's different from just a regular savings account. High yield savings account is for the APY, which is the annual percentage yield. You are able to make money back off of the money that you are saving. Personally, I use the Goldman Sachs Marcus High Yield Savings Account, and I will have a referral link below. Use it if you are interested. It is amazing. I will put it below if you are interested. But you should not be putting your money in just regular savings accounts. Like, you should not be putting your money in regular savings accounts, because you for real, you are really just losing money. Like, you're losing value of your money because the dollar is steadily depreciating from inflation. So it's like, make money and put it in a high yield savings account. The Goldman Sachs Marcus account is not the only one out there. Do your own research, but I will put some information there. I also would say you need to have a retirement account, life insurance, look at getting a Roth IRA. And I know I'm throwing a lot out there, but I'm going to put links below because I really do think things stick when you have your own research to them. Like, people were saying all of these type of things before to me, and it's like, it wasn't until I picked up certain books, it wasn't until I started doing my own research, it wasn't until I started seeking out the information myself that it really resonated and stuck. So I am going to lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink it. So I'm gonna put links below for some of these things that I'm talking about, because we are trying to build wealth out here. And especially if you are a minority, a Black, it is imperative. I mean, for everyone, but I'm talking to my minorities right now. Like, y'all, it is legacy, leaving legacy, starting off, building wealth, that type of thing is intentionally not taught to us. It's intentionally held from us. So we gotta go out and get it ourselves. So check out the bio, if not for your own sake, for your own legacy's sake, like, honestly. So savings, you should be having a few different savings accounts for right now, for your future, for retirement, for investing. And investing is a whole different thing that I feel like we can touch on in a different video in a part 2, because I do want to share about some of the investments that I'm making that are really, really great. But if I could just throw one up there, is the S&P 500. That is an amazing brokerage account that can just help you invest into all the big stocks. So those are your Apples, your Teslas, your Microsofts, your Amazons. Like, you will get a return on that. Like, truly, you will get a return on that, and it's very safe. It's very, very, very safe. So you could look at Vanguard or Fidelity. I use Fidelity. So just do some research, but I'm also going to put some information about S&P 500 down there if you are interested in kind of like getting into investing. So it's just smart. It is smart to do. Please, 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 please. But also do your own research. And for my last and final point is generosity. Listen. It is so important. Again, if we are going by the word, we are called to be generous. So if that looks like tithing for you, if that looks like giving to a nonprofit organization that is near and dear to your heart, if that looks like just taking out a certain amount of money and giving it to the homeless, but it is so imperative to be generous. Because to whom much is given, much is required. And if you have been given anything, which most of us are, most of us can find a way to be generous. Most of us can find a way to give, and you should, because money is energy. Money is energy. It's not this like scary thing that you really have to be like, how do I, like, no, it's like, being generous is sending out and getting on the wavelength of generosity, of like that frequency that money lives on. So I find every week I have a generosity goal of like, I'm giving this, I'm going to do this, I am going to whatever. And generosity isn't even always financial. I told you all that I became a mentor recently, and I also serve at church. Those are two things that have no money tied to it, but it's in the spirit and the energy of generosity, right? So I think that it's very important to find out where you can be generous with your time, generous with your finances, generous with your encouragement, right? Like finding ways to be generous, because I'm telling you, when you're generous, you vibrate at a different frequency. You are at, and it feels good. And you shouldn't give to get, absolutely not. But inevitably, you end up attracting and you end up getting. And that's what truly I feel like a lot of good things that are in my life, I truly feel like is because I live in that energy. I live in that frequency. I'm not too like white knuckled or like stressed about finances or money, because you just have to know, like, it's mine. Like, what's for me is for me. Like, if you're wise over what you're given, and you're doing the right things, and you're paying down your debt, and you're being generous, and you're saving, and you like, naturally you're just vibrating at that energy. So you're going to attract it, because money is energy. And I'll also recommend this book called The Psychology of Money. So that can also help you rewire the way that you think about money, the way that you were taught about money, because money is not a bad thing. Money loves you. I love money, you love money, but you can't make money an idol, but you also can't be afraid of it. So I think it's really looking at the psychology in which you think about money. So friends, that is my little tidbit, my input about money, budgeting, to really investing, saving, all of those things, to really like live the life that you want, to be a good steward, to be wise, to build up legacy. Like, some of us could really hate money, but we live in a capitalist society. Like, it's not going anywhere, so we might as well get good at it and vibrate at the frequency that it's vibrating at. I'm gonna link so many things below, so many things. Most of the nuggets from this video are going to be in the description box, so check that out. I'm so like, y'all, let's get this shmoney, and let's build legacy. It's so important. And the last thing, 100 amazing facts about the Negro. Just because Black History Month is ending doesn't mean that the work ever stops. The work is continual, and we just gotta educate ourselves about all the things. So thank y'all for tuning in. Definitely subscribe. I can't stress that enough. Subscribe, like, comment, reshare. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to comment below, and also share tips of what works for y'all. Until next time, y'all, I will see you. Bye.